But I was able to leave home, and in many ways I was able to find my own voice. And I think going to the Christian college made me realize that this life was not for me.
Hank, yeah, and we were talking about work.
We're talking about work.
Woo, just what everyone loves to do.
Yes, absolutely.
So before I hit the recorder, you were about to say, because you were about to give away gold, and I'm like, gotta get it on air. Like, this has to be for the people.
For the people, absolutely. You know what I haven't done, though? I haven't done any sex work yet.
Yet?
Yeah, haven't done any sex work. I know that your channel has a lot of sex work on it. Was listening to a lot of your podcasts to prepare for my interview. So sorry to your audience that I haven't engaged in that yet.
It's okay. We can turn you out by the end of the episode.
Yeah, I know you're a pro at doing that.
No, I've never. Nope. I'm actually very much a proponent of like telling people not to do sex work.
Oh, really? Yeah. Why is that?
Because there's a lot of pitfalls in it that people don't understand, don't know. Like, it's a kind of a lonely place for people.
Oh yeah, I can see that because it's isolating, right? And also, there's a very short shelf life when it comes to sex work, from what I've read and from what I understand. And also, I work in entertainment, and so that's adjacent to sex work, or from what I've heard, it can be a stepping stone to sex work.
Well, it can go both ways.
Right.
It's like, oh, your entertainment career's not going so great. Sex work. You're a really successful sex worker? Entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Or a lot of times you do one and you can't do the other. You know what I mean? Like, it's a slip in a slip and a slide. Like, once you've done the sex work, you can't step back into you can't step into a legitimate Hollywood career. People won't accept you.
Yeah, unless you have hit like the upper stratosphere of being a porn star. Like, years and years ago, Entourage booked Tegan Presley, Jessie Jane, and I think Devin for like a couple episodes.
Sure.
But that's just one-off things there. Like, they're generally not making someone who is a sex worker into a series regular or
right.
Oh, they did turn Sasha Grey into one.
Sure. But Sasha Grey also isn't training to become a series regular.
Right.
Sasha Grey is almost a novelty, right? Sasha Grey is Sasha Grey. She's branding herself as an adult performer, and she's always probably going to stay that way.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, for the most part. And the only form of entertainment where like it becomes kind of socially acceptable to go from sex work to entertainment and like actually have a career is comedy. There are a couple performers that like have had semi-successful comedy careers.
Yes, that's true.
And DJing. Being a DJ.
That's so funny. Yes, music will do that.
And it's crazy that like those two forms of entertainment happily will take sex workers, where TV and movies is like, oh, you're radioactive.
Yeah, I wonder why there's a little bit of a stink or a little bit of I don't know how to say it, pretentiousness there.
My guess, and this is purely a guess,
right,
is there's so much money that goes into TV and film production,
right,
that the studios don't want to take a risk on putting someone in who may offend middle America.
Well, oh my God, there's an actor who he just this past Oscar season. Well, not Oscar season. His movie didn't end up getting into the Oscars, but it ended up going into Sundance. His movie was called Red Rocket. Do you know what I'm talking about? You're in front of a computer.
I am. I'm gonna look it up right now.
He was the star in a movie. But in that movie, but his movie did the whole indie circuit. I think it did like Telluride. I think it did Cannes. I think it did. Look up that actor's name. But when he was 18, he did a jerk off video, and he did end up becoming a series regular and recurring. And he did do a lot of television as a young actor in his mid-20s, but he lost a lot of roles and, like, potential superhero franchises because of that jerk-off video, and he lost a lot of opportunities because of that one, for doing something that everybody does.
Right, and it's crazy
Yeah.
because people were still booking Charlie Sheen.
Mm,
He's not in front of the camera, but he was definitely on record taking advantage of not taking advantage, but hiring sex workers.
sure.
But they would still hire him. It's a bit of a hypocrisy there.
Are people still hiring Charlie Sheen?
After the whole meltdown, I don't know, but
Is Charlie Sheen still a viable commodity in Hollywood?
I don't know. Let me look at his IMDb and see the last
Yeah,
time he worked.
well, that's true. What is Charlie Sheen's last credit?
Simon Rex is the
Simon Rex, Red Rocket. Yes, Simon Rex had a little bit of a comeback with Red Rocket, and Simon Rex used his, pseudo porn past to his full advantage because in Red Rocket he was fully nude multiple times, and they were talking about an Oscar nomination, and he didn't get it, but people said that if he had gotten it, it would have been well deserved. So,
well, and I'm hoping as entertainment evolves, as more people have fucking OnlyFans and shit like that, that the stigma starts to die out a little bit.
yeah, like even someone mainstream like Bella Thorne had an OnlyFans briefly for like a week, didn't she?
She was the first person to make $1 million in one day on OnlyFans.
Didn't she? Yeah, didn't she make a? Yeah, and she had it for like a week, right? If she activated it and made millions,
$1 million a day, made $1 million in one day, and didn't even get naked.
Didn't even have to get naked. All she had to do was just post just random Instagram content.
Yeah, which also had giant blowback within the adult entertainment community.
Oh yeah, why was that?
Because she got so many chargebacks on people upset that she wasn't nude.
Oh,
That it changed OnlyFans payout model. It was pretty bad.
Really? And do you agree with the blowback that she got?
Yes and no.
Like, you think she should have gotten naked. You're like, if you're going to be on OnlyFans, it's a platform for adult content. Get naked.
No, I mean, it's completely your right to get naked or not, but don't false advertise. Don't allude to, oh yeah, if you spend this money, I'm here to get naked.
You think she did that? You think she implied that she would have gotten naked?
Well, if you're posting the similar content to what you could post on Instagram and being making a big deal like, I have an OnlyFans, there's an implication that goes with that.
Got it.
Like if you were to announce your OnlyFans right now, I'm pretty sure
that's true.
OnlyFans has OnlyFans for comedy.
Right.
If you were to announce on this show right now, like, hey guys, I'm starting an OnlyFans, I don't think people tuning in would be that like coming in for the comedy.
You're right. People would assume that I'm going to show my dick.
Right.
Right. Which, it's funny. I was approached for the OnlyFans for comedy. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, OnlyFans is trying to diversify.
Well, yeah, they talked about bailing out of the adult market altogether a couple of years ago.
They're not going to. It's too lucrative for them.
Well, for the moment, it was like it's a whole to do, but it was problems with payment processors where. Yes, it is very lucrative, but they're also looking to sell, and being able to actually sell with all the adult content on the platform was becoming problematic.
Oh, really? Like payment processors as in like Visa and MasterCard and stuff like that, like won't process their...
They fixed it, but with the history of OnlyFans was actually launched as to be a Patreon competitor. It legitimately was supposed to be like a platform for creators to do bonus content.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't restrict adult stuff, so the adult industry flocked to it.
Okay.
But because it was set up to be a Patreon competitor, they were never set up properly to like properly regulate adult stuff.
So it's not. So it's a little bit of the Wild Wild West.
I mean, they've definitely dialed it in at this point, but
right.
In all reality, like the MasterCard stuff that MasterCard was asking for, none of it was particularly unreasonable, and they gave them like 6 to 8 months to comply. And OnlyFans just didn't do it initially.
So they got in trouble with the credit card processors. Right.
So their initial answer, instead of properly setting up compliance, was to
Ignore it.
Ignore it and then be like, we're out of adult. We're out. Peace.
Right. That makes no sense. And you fuck yourself.
Right. You fuck yourself and you fuck everyone who built this platform for you.
Right. And you hurt your content creators. You hurt the little people.
Yeah.
That built your platform.
Especially the people during the pandemic, the service industry people that were out of work that started OnlyFans to try to get by.
Yeah.
Like, that's blood money for a lot of people.
Mm.
To just be like, nah, fuck y'all. It's pretty raw.
Right.
And most of the adult industry has it in their back of the head, like, this could happen again in any second.
Huh. It probably could. I mean, I think sex workers are probably the most mistreated amongst all of entertainment. I mean, they're non-union. They're seen as disposable. They're the most exposed, literally, figuratively. They have the shortest lifespan when it comes to their career. You know, they're extremely vulnerable when it comes to diseases and, you know, violence. And I mean, I fully advocate for protections just across the board when it comes to sex workers. I fully admire, you know, what they do. I think they provide a service.
They do. It's a very necessary service.
Yeah.
Pornhub would not be one of the top visited websites in the world if people weren't consuming it.
True.
It's absolutely wild that, like, as we like to say, like, people, you know, jerk off with one hand and point with the other.
That's so funny. And a lot of them are Christians.
Oh, yeah. The red states are leaps and bounds above in viewership.
I know, too. I was raised religious, and the hypocrisy is out of this world.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think it's easy. I think it's easy to point and to judge, because then you don't have to look inward. So I think I was raised in a religious culture where it was easy to turn a blind eye to what was going on inside your own house and just to point at the neighbor's house and just to be like, oh, okay, look at what's happening over there. And then just to ignore what was going on inside what was happening inside your own house. I'm repeating myself. I don't know. I'm not making any sense.
Oh, you're making sense. Don't worry.
The Elijah Craig that you served me is doing its job.
Well, cheers to that, by the way.
Cheers to that. Cheers. Like, I went to a Christian college also, and they love to demonize the other side. They love to be like, the liberals this, then the liberals that, so that they can feel better about themselves.
Isn't there something in the Bible about, you know, don't throw stones from glass houses?
Yes, totally. Totally. But you always need someone to compare yourself to so that you can feel like you're living the more righteous life. You know what I mean? Like that. So you have a reason to wake up so that you have something to, you know, so you've got the moral high ground. The way that I was raised, I think that a lot of people relied on that in order to be able to survive. And I think they continue to do that. I think that's why people like Trump won. You know, I think people who were really in the depths of despair in a lot of different parts of their lives felt like they had to, fuck it. I lost my train of thought.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Honestly, on paper, I've said this before, I kind of wanted to like Trump. It's like, the dude wanted to make a space force. He's involved with sex workers.
He's involved with sex workers.
Right. Like, on paper, it's like, oh, I want to like this guy. Man, he really just...
He seems like a good time. He seems like he's a lot of fun.
Except for the, like, no drinking ever and being a speedhead, but allegedly.
Oh, he doesn't drink.
Yeah, he claims that alcohol has never touched his lips.
That's a lie.
Well, even if it's not a lie, I don't trust anyone who would say that.
Oh, really?
If it's true or not, like, it's almost with anything in life. How are you going to know if you like it or not if you haven't tried it?
That's interesting.
Like, that's shows that you don't have an open mind to things.
Did I read that his father was an alcoholic and that's why he didn't
I believe so. His brother
didn't do that, or his
brother definitely died of liver disease.
Oh, okay.
But still, try it once.
Right. Taste it.
Like, oh, this isn't my jam.
Right.
Like, I know for a fact I don't like mustard. I've tried it.
I do believe that Trump is a man that's gone through a lot of trauma in his life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that is a man who is traumatized. He's seen a lot of it. So it is entirely possible that he is traumatized by the death of his brother who died of liver disease and is like, I will never touch the stuff. But I think that in order to get to that point, you have to be a very mature person to be able to process that and have the psychology in order to be like, oh, because of the actions and consequences of such and such thing, that is why I will never touch this substance. And he just doesn't seem mature enough to do that.
Definitely not. Well, and
No.
most of humanity is not mature enough to just take one anecdotal experience and not just run with it.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, most of his presidency, he seemed like a petulant child. So that's why it doesn't seem like he has the wherewithal and the maturity to not touch alcohol for the reason,
Maybe he is, rightfully afraid that if he does have that one drink, he is just gonna hit it hard
to lose his ever-loving mind.
Could you imagine him drunk as hell on control the button?
I wonder. I'll bet you there are anecdotes of him actually probably drunk, and the Secret Service just hid those stories. It's probably like those Russian peace stories. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like there's probably drunk wasted stories too. They're just classified.
I don't know. His White House leaked like a sieve, and all the stories about him coming out with being a pill popper are pretty well documented.
Right.
So if the pill popping came out, how could the drunk stories not come out?
Right. That's true.
But enough on Trump before he gets reelected and we both end up in a gulag somewhere.
That's so true. You really think he's going to get reelected?
I mean, he's polling better than Biden right now.
That's so awful.
Only in America can you be on trial for multiple fraud counts, election interference, and still be polling better than the sitting president.
Yeah. And Biden, I think, is an upstanding guy. I mean, I think he's old as a bag of rocks, but I think he's an upstanding president. He's doing pretty well. I think he's just, he's just been at it for a very long time. And I like how calm the news is. It's reassuring. Yeah. It's calm. I like it.
I like the calm news, but it's also
it's scary how old he is. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Like if he was just a civilian, they probably would pull his driver's license.
I agree.
Do you really want someone who's driving the country who can't operate a motor vehicle?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's
a little nerve-wracking. And it's just
he would be on a life alert. Yeah.
100%. He is the person who's I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah.
Can we just pick somebody better? Anybody? Hank, do you want to be president? Can we run you? Can we run you for president?
I wasn't able to finish the sentence about Trump. You don't want me.
Trump can't speak either. It's fine. It's fine.
At least Biden can finish reading his teleprompter. That he's able to finish reading every single one of his teleprompter speeches.
Yeah, he just sometimes greets people that aren't there.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah. Or he asked where someone it was either a member of Congress or a member of the Senate that had died recently. Where were they?
Did he do that?
Yeah.
I missed that. Wow.
Yeah, it's can we just run anybody else? Seriously.
How do you think Kamala's going to do? Or would she? How do you think she would do if she were to run? I heard she's not polling too well.
No.
They kind of hide her away.
Yeah, what do you hear about Kamala? I heard more about Mike Pence than Kamala.
Yeah. Kamala doesn't. She's supposed to be second in command, and she doesn't really get headlines because they sort of don't really bring her out.
Well, it's just kind of like, we're not going to talk about anything. Whatever's happening, it's happening. It's cool. It's kind of like during the Obama administration, like there weren't a ton of headlines about Obama. More drone strikes than anybody else. Like, no news is not always good news.
Right.
It's literally, can we just run somebody else anyway?
You think the Democrats have someone else?
There's got to be somebody. There's got to be.
Do you follow politics a lot?
A little.
A little bit. Yeah,
bit,
me too. I'm not really a politics guy. It makes me too sad.
Well, it bums me out, and also I go a lot of cases like, this shit's above my pay grade. I live in Los Angeles.
That's true.
They declare California blue before the electoral college is even remotely counted.
Right.
Our votes matter for local elections. They don't matter on the national front.
Right.
And so much of it's above my pay grade. I'm not going out in the streets like armed with rifles and throwing insurrection. Like, Civil War II comes, I'm going to grab a bottle and just be like, okay, come for me when the end comes. Shit.
Right.
Oh, God, I hope it's quick and painless.
Yeah.
But it's just a wild place. I've legitimately had friends bail the U.S. in the last couple of years.
Bailed as in they left the country?
Mm-hmm.
Where did they go?
One friend went to Montenegro. One friend went to two friends went to Portugal.
You're kidding. They left the country? Mm-hmm. Did they like it?
They're loving it.
What do they do? They work remote?
One of them, I don't even really know what she does. I legitimately don't know what she does.
That's hilarious. You have friends that have fled the country.
Yeah. Well, the one friend, like, when I met her, she was a DJ, and last I saw on an Instagram post, she's acting as a realtor in Montenegro. I'm like, I don't even know how this happened.
She changed careers.
Well, and somewhere in the interim, she was doing website design and coding. I'm like, I don't understand how all this happened. Okay.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
She upended her entire life, went to a different country, and changed careers.
Twice.
Wow. Just to get away from the politics of the United States.
Uh-huh.
But she must love her new life. Like,
she seems to be killing it. Every time I talk to her, she seems really fucking happy.
New healthcare, new
adventures.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt that she is conventionally attractive. So
sure.
I'm sure some doors have been opened for her.
Is she single?
Who knows?
Who knows? When she moved, was she single?
Yeah. And then she ended up on a boat on the Mediterranean with some Italian guys she met for a while.
Oh, wow. Okay. Conventionally attractive probably does help.
Yeah. It's amazing what being conventionally attractive just opens doors for people.
Probably helps with the adventure part.
It definitely does. It definitely does. And then the other friends are...
She late 20s, early 30s, like that type of bracket.
Mid-30s at this point?
Mid-30s. Yeah.
But yeah, she seems to be killing it. And then the other friends are in adult entertainment, and luckily we're just able to get contracts with European performers.
Oh, got it. And then just move overseas.
Yep.
Wow. It just perform overseas.
Yep.
Huh. And they love it.
They're loving it so far, yeah. See, for me, it's just like, I would like to live abroad. I just don't think I have enough marketable skills to live abroad.
Well, you could possibly do your podcast abroad. Do you think you can get enough guests?
Probably not.
No. You could always get some Italian, guests abroad. You can always get, I don't know.
No, I mean, LA is the hub for everything I want to fucking do.
That is so true. Yeah, like same for me. I mean, I'm an actor and a comic, so there's no way I could work anywhere else unless I also switch to real estate or whatever.
You don't want to be on a boat with a fine Italian man for a summer?
That would, I mean, well, first of all, I have a boyfriend, but fine Italian man, that sounds amazing, but
Well, yeah, don't cheat on the boyfriend. Let's he loves you. Don't.
I've always wondered what it would be like to up and just change your life like that. That sounds like the beginning of an TV show. That's the pilot of a TV
Oh,
show.
100%. It's definitely the pilot of like some Eat, Pray, Love type series.
Mhm.
100%. Like, just tired of American politics to the wild.
Yeah.
If you were to do that, where would you go?
I mean, I like Montenegro. That sounds exactly where I mean, I don't even know where Montenegro is on a map, but just the name of it sounds like exactly where you would go. You know where I went this summer? I went to Edinburgh,
Oh, nice. You do the
Scotland. I did the Fringe.
hell yeah.
It's Scotland, and it was such an artistic hub, but it was great, you know what I mean? And when you go to Europe, it's so old, and there's so much history, and you realize just how young America is, and you get to see all of the richness and the vastness of the world concentrated in one place, and just everyone is doing art, and it's just so beautiful. Like, I would love to relocate to a place like that, and my boyfriend joined me for the last 2 weeks of my month there. Um, it was great like that. So if I were to ever relocate, I'm like, "Yeah, do that." Like, I have a cousin who's in Germany right now, she's lived there for 5 years,
Nice.
so I feel like she sort of did, like, an Eat, Pray, Love adventure like that, you know what I mean? Just like this Asian girl who relocated to Germany, you know what I mean? Like, she dyed her hair blonde, it's like, what are you trying to be, like, some white girl? You know what I mean? Just
It's okay. Like, Asians or other Aryans, according. Oh, whoops.
yeah, I know, right?
They're okay. No. But tell me more about the Fringe Festival. Like, tell me about your month there.
The month was yeah, I mean, it was like I mean, it's pretty much it was like 5 weeks there. It was great. It was stand up every single day, so really worked out my muscle. I was part of a show called Alphabet Soup. It was an LGBT queer show, and we got well reviewed in a lot of different publications, and it was just a nice variety show. Um, and and we got to just sort of like travel and see the sights, and got to see and meet a lot of artists. I mean, it was kind of everything you really like hoped for. And what was really interesting? Um, Not just doing the show, but the coming back was really interesting because most of connecting with all with my cast, with the other comics that were in the show, touching base with most of them, most of us fell into a depression when we came back, because we came back and there was a strike. We none of us had anything else really going on, and we were like, bummer. Like, it was really hard sort of coming back into it. You do something every single day, and you're bonding, and you're a part of like this pseudo family, and then you come back to something, and then you sort of have nothing, and it's really hard to sort of bounce back from
Yeah,
that.
that's gotta suck. Because as glamorous as like doing entertainment in LA is, at least for me personally, it could be a very isolating place at times too. Because everyone's on their grind, on their hustle.
Yeah.
There's not always time to like be social unless it's like an actual like planned event for something that you have to attend, and that's work too.
I think that's why people in Los Angeles chase the brass ring of trying to be on a series, because we want to be a part of a family. You want to be a part of a community that's always going to be there for you. Like, everybody wants to be a part of their version of the cast of Friends. You want to be a part of something that lasts for 10 years. You want to go to some place. You want to go to to a job that can be counted on, every single day for 10 fucking years. Like, how incredible is that? And also, like, a series like that employs hundreds of people, from your people at the top all the way down to the crew,
Oh yeah.
and I've done a lot of television, and I have found myself to be sad for the ending of a lot of those jobs. Like, sometimes I've been on set for just 2 days, and I've been sad when those 2 days ends. I'm like, "This is sad," because I bond with the hairdresser after 2 days. I'm like, "I really like getting my hair done for free."
Right.
Yeah, and I also really liked getting paid $8,000 to say lines for 2 you know what I mean? For 2 days. That makes me sad that that's over.
Right. It's like, oh,
I know, that makes me sad that that job's over.
instead of being paid $15 to get up somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, the money in television is unmatched anywhere else too.
Except maybe feature films, but
Feature films, yeah, feature film money is great. So, but feature film money is also unmatched. Yes, my last serious depression to rival Edinburgh depression was when I did a movie in Atlanta. That was also 5 weeks, and I came back and boom. And that was some serious sadness also.
oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. But what can you expect? You know what I mean? Like, you do a movie for 5 weeks, and it's like summer camp, and you just have to, whoop, whoop the goes. What's that song? Whoop the goes. I'm trying to think of that song. Whoop, whoop the goes. Whoop. There goes gravity. Whoop, whoop. Here comes reality. Whoop, there goes
Oh, yeah.
gravity.
Now I'm hearing the chorus in my head, and I'm trying to remember
Whoop,
the song.
whoop, there goes gravity. Oh, whoop, whoop. Here comes reality. Whoop, there
Oh,
goes
there's
gravity.
Eminem.
Yeah, exactly.
8 Mile.
8 Mile, exactly. That's what it feels like. Yes, from 8 Mile.
I had it in my head. I'm like, I got this. I got this.
Yes. But to answer your question about Edinburgh, yeah, Edinburgh was magical. It was like Harry Potter world, and to be able to do stand up every single day was a lot of fun. Even like in the grind of it, because it was a grind.
How many times did you get up in that month?
I think like 30.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because it was every single day. I think I had days off, maybe like 28 or something like that. And then there were like other shows that you could get up on, if you really wanted to hustle, but I didn't hustle that hard.
Got to enjoy a little bit of the being in Scotland.
Yeah. So, we traveled with my boyfriend. We went to Glasgow, and
Nice.
and then there's also an opportunity to go back to Edinburgh next year.
You gonna do it?
I don't know.
It's a hesitation.
The hesitation, first, there's the cost of it. The cost is just I didn't have to pay for my flight to go, or I didn't have to pay for my room and board either. We stayed at a nuclear bunker, by the way.
Nice.
So that was interesting. It was a abandoned nuclear bunker. So that was a fun accommodation. But we have to pay for our own food, and then there's the opportunity cost of this year I was definitely able to go because there was a strike. So there was no work happening at all. But next year there will be opportunity cost of me leaving because the town will be up and running. So I don't know how happy my reps will be with me leaving town for 5 weeks.
What's the bigger priority for you, doing comedy or being on camera?
I guess we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it.
Fair.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I could be leaving a lot of money on the table if I leave town.
But what would be more artistically satisfactory for you?
Yeah, that's true. Being able, I think if I got 30 guaranteed days of stand up, that would be artistically satisfactory. But again, like I told you, if I got if you were to tell me like I could get a guaranteed guest star, which at this point I think is like $9,000 or something like that, I might give up Edinburgh to do it.
No, and it makes sense. I live in Hollywood too. I get it. Like,
Yeah, you know,
it's like, oh, you want to pay my rent for the next couple months on one appearance? Or I could do something that is maybe more artistically filling, but is going to cost me money. I'm probably taking the gig that's going to pay my rent.
the balance of that could be something to work towards, because I mean, with the strikes this year, and I count the WGA because I'm only in one union. Obviously, I'm not a writer, but I count the WGA the strike as I'm just counting both strikes because we were affected by both strikes.
100%.
So with the strikes this year, you know, this year probably was a wash. Was mostly a wash. I did 3 jobs. So I made, you know, definitely not as much income as I would have liked, but my last job was in May, so I'm really coasting by on just savings right now.
Well, and that's the thing that, like, unfortunately, a lot of middle America doesn't seem to realize is like everyone who is out on those picket lines, not everyone can be like, yeah, I got millions in the bank. It's cool.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the greater majority of SAG members don't even make enough to get health care every year.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm one of them. I'm right now on Medi-Cal. So, you know, I didn't qualify this year because I was out of work for so long. So, hopefully better luck next year. Do you know what I mean? The goal will be to hopefully, I think Edinburgh will be a goal. The goal will be to hopefully in the beginning of 2024, you know, we'll see if I can book a couple of jobs, book a couple of guest stars, and then get my bank account up, and then also get some status with my reps, and to be like, oh look, guys, I booked a couple of guest stars. I have some money in the bank.
I did it. Now we drink, guys.
I did. Exactly.
Your reps are gonna be like, why did you do this?
I know.
Why?
You know, to get some and then to be like, now can I go to Edinburgh? You know, and that might be like, you know, now I might be able to skip town for 5 weeks.
Hopefully, I mean, because that would be ideal. Like, make enough money so you're comfortable, and then get to do what you're actually like artistically passionate about.
Right.
Like, that's the dream.
Yeah, because I feel like if I don't book a couple of jobs, then I probably can't leave town.
It perfectly makes sense.
Yes. So, but it sucks to be in that position. In that way, I feel like a sex worker. I'm kind of like, you know, I feel like where you feel constrained by, you know, by your, I don't know, bad analogy maybe. I feel like my resume, while it does speak for itself, my previous year's work, I've lost my momentum.
Do you feel it's a lot of people looking at it, it's like you're only good as the last gig you did and how regularly you're working?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I do think so. And I think in this town, people are looking at probably the last 6 months. Probably the last 6 months, probably the last year.
Well, and that's a giant bummer. Like, if you get the chance, everyone, please go look at Hank's comedy on YouTube. It's ridiculously funny.
Oh, thank you.
And you're out there killing it. And like, just because some gatekeeper hasn't signed off on you in the last 6 months shouldn't diminish your talent and your ability.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. I did release the special in the last month and a half, so that's that's a little bit of, momentum. So I'm lucky that I have sort of like the dual paths that I work on, but the comedy doesn't pay the bills. Not really. But the comedy is very fulfilling.
Have you thought about like doing the road more, or just afraid of being away from town and missing out on gigs?
Yeah, I could do the road a little more, but also the road takes time to build those relationships, and and I just haven't had the chance to build those relationships. So I have to that's work on my part to invest in that. So so you're giving me a kick in the ass.
Yeah, get out there, get on the road, like fucking go visit Middle America, give them the fucking laughs.
Yeah,
Go hit the Schaumburg Improv.
right.
You ever catch any shows there while you were based in Illinois?
While I was in Illinois,
Yeah.
I did when I was at a Christian at my Christian college. I was doing comedy.
Where were you getting up in Chicago?
It was at a club called Comedy.
Not familiar with that one.
It was a small little venue at a hotel. It was cute. And then a couple of years ago, I went back to open for a buddy, and I was able to get up at their Zanies.
Rosemont or in the city?
I did Rosemont and I did the city.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think one of them is closed now. I think.
Don't know. I mean, I hope to fuck Zany's Old Town isn't closed.
No, Old Town is not closed. I want to say the one in the burbs.
I mean, there was one in Libertyville like forever ago.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever stepped foot in that room, but hell, and Rosemont didn't exist when I was out there.
Yeah. It might be Rose.
No, Zany's Rosemont still has to be there.
Rosemont still.
I mean, it's Conventia. Why would they close the comedy club?
Right.
I'm double checking. No, Zany's.
But there's three. There's three Zanies out there.
Yeah, there's Old Town, which is the original, and I've seen a bunch of shows there.
Right. Great room, great space.
I'm looking to see where else the Zany's locations are. There's the Old Town. I'm like, I saw Bobcat Goldthwait there. Like at one.
Oh my God, classic.
Yeah,
Bobcat's been touring for like 30 years.
I know. I probably saw him at least 20 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I haven't lived in Chicago since 2010.
Oh my God.
And I was probably barely 21 going to Zany's when I saw Bobcat. It was one of those things. I think that was like one of the first comedy shows I'd ever gone to.
Must have been magical.
It was pretty rad. Like in retrospect, it's like I wasn't like a heckler or being obnoxious, but in retrospect, like I did not know what comedy etiquette was.
Oh, really? You were talking to the guy?
No, I wasn't talking to the guy. I was not heckling, but I didn't talk to him. But it's also like I wouldn't have been out of place to talk to him, like in my mind.
Oh, really?
Thankfully, I didn't. Thankfully,
you were polite.
Right, but at this point, I have so many comedy shows, like as an audience member under my belt, it's just like I can see in the crowd the people that are not regularly at comedy shows.
Yes, the people that are a little out of place.
Yeah,
that are a little rowdy.
Little rowdy, or just their energy is just a little off. It's just like,
sure.
You don't understand, like clapping or laughing are your only two responses here.
Right. The laughs are a little off.
Yeah.
The clapping is a little off. Even the way they order drinks is a little off.
Right.
Sort of like, now is not the time to flag the waitress. Right. Now is not the time to put in your drink order.
You are literally bringing back some trauma for me right now.
Yeah. Oh, right.
I took a girl that I was kind of hanging out with. I was already on the West Coast. I was living in Vegas at the time. Eddie Griffith used to have a residency at the Palms at the King's Room. He'd do like fucking 3 hours. And I took this girl there. We've been drinking all day, as we do.
Yeah.
She, in the middle of Eddie's set, is like loudly flagging down the waitress.
Oh, no.
Trying to get drinks. Like, Eddie is staring at her from the fucking stage because that is a tiny room.
No.
Like, that room is smaller than the belly room at the store.
Mm.
It's a tiny fucking room. And it's just like, I am just petrified. I'm just like, oh God. Why is the girl I brought fucking making a
Oh
goddamn scene?
no. Was this a date? Kind of.
Kinda, sorta. Like, at that point, it decidedly wasn't. Like,
Yeah.
she had flown out from Chicago. Like, I knew this girl from back in Chicago. Like, I was into her when we both still lived in Chicago.
Right.
She would like, I want to visit you in Vegas. I'm like, yeah, this is a sure thing.
Right.
And then she got out there and was a drunk shit show. Like,
Ugh.
the whole weekend. Like, threatened to fight one of my friends drunk at one point. Like,
No kidding.
yeah.
Do you regularly date girls who are this rowdy?
No, that's a little too much for me.
That's a little bit beyond.
Like, I want to date someone who's not a square, but I don't want to date someone who's like threatening to fist fight my friends in the bar.
Right.
Like, we got to find the happy medium here.
Exactly. You want someone who's, you don't need someone who's the life of the party, but you want someone, yeah.
I'm cool with you being the life of the party. I'm just not cool with you being out of fucking control.
Right. Okay.
This is, to date it, was when the Blackhawks were playing the Bruins in the fucking Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay.
And she is pissed drunk and we're in a bar in Vegas. And she's like, why isn't everyone rooting for the Blackhawks? If we were back in Chicago, everyone would be rooting for the Blackhawks. I'm like, because we're not in Chicago, girl.
Oh my God.
It just, yeah. It was bad. It was fucking bad. And after the show, Eddie's doing a meet and greet. She's like, I'm going to go, say hi to Eddie. I'm like, cool. I'm going to be at the slot machine. Just let me know when you're done.
How did you get rid of her?
I dropped her off at the airport.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a little rough. It was directly after the show. I drove her to the airport and dropped her off. And like her flight got delayed like 2 hours. I just didn't answer the phone.
She wanted to talk?
She wanted me to come pick her up and get, because she didn't know how long her flight was going to be delayed.
And just hang out?
Yeah. And I'm just like, no.
Pick you back up and just hang out for like another half hour? Like it's only 2 hours.
I don't know what her plan was.
Yeah.
Once I dropped her off at the airport, I considered her no longer my problem.
Exactly. I think that's a very smart choice.
I wanted to get rid of her much sooner than that.
Yes, exactly. You made a very sound decision.
I mean, I probably would have made a much more sound decision to have never let her come out in the first place, but...
Wait, how did you meet her?
This is a little shameful. So...
Was it an app?
No. So years and years ago, in the mid-2000s, I ran a small record label in Chicago.
Yeah.
She was the girlfriend of one of the guitar players in the band.
Uh-huh.
And...
Oh, so now she had broken up with the guy.
Yeah, they'd been broken up for a while, but like the very first night I met her.
And she wasn't batshit back then.
No, she was fun. She was fun, like a fun party animal back then. The very first night I met her, like, this is when I was still scouting the band that her boyfriend played in. I had no idea who she was. I showed up to like their show, and this is like in the MySpace days. So like you'd find bands playing on MySpace, and like that's how I scouted a lot of my artists. So like, check out what shows we're playing locally, listen to their music on MySpace, and then be like, let me go check them out live. And if they're cool, like try to cut a deal.
Right.
And I'm at the bar ordering a drink, like there to scout her boyfriend's band. I have no idea who this girl is. And she rolls something like, oh, you're cute. Let me buy you a drink. I'm like, you're cute too. I'll take that drink. And then I find out like she's the guitarist's girlfriend. I'm like, well, I'm not going to fuck up my business over this shit.
Right.
But, fast forward 5-6 years later, she hits me up and she's like, I want to come visit you in Vegas. And I went,
Aw, that's kind of sweet.
Oh, I'm going to fuck the shit out of her.
Aw.
Oh, that did not happen, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Right?
Thankfully, you have sound mind and body to not fuck crazy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
Sometimes.
In this particular case, we'll go with this particular case.
Right.
This particular case, I did not stick my dick in crazy.
Right. Woo.
But literally when she went to go do the meet and greet with Eddie, I'm sitting at a slot machine and I could hear Eddie call her out for being loud during the show when she goes up to meet him.
Oh, really? What did Eddie say?
He's like, oh, you were the bitch who was making noise during my show.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm just like, God damn, I'm glad I didn't go up there with her. Fuck. It's like, I know I'm not doing anything wrong, but I was just secondhand embarrassed by association there.
That's so funny. Eddie would remember after the show, too.
She was loud. She was very fucking loud.
But you know what? That also screams. It screams like classless.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, I often like to joke that low is a class.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like
below low.
The bar is at toe level there.
Wow. It was beneath the ground.
Almost.
Especially from a comedy standpoint.
Yeah, it's just like nothing will turn me off faster than me taking you to a comedy show and you being an obnoxious audience member.
Right. Yes. Because especially because did you ever do comedy?
No, because I have no writing talent.
Oh, but you seem to have a huge respect for it.
Oh,
and for the art form, for the skill of it. I mean, you know how much work goes into the skill and the nuance and the writing of it and the sculpting of a joke. I mean, it takes a lot of
it does, and
a lot of preparation to.
Much like being a male porn star, I know what goes into it. That's why I don't want to do the job.
Right.
Like, it's like, I don't have a huge dick. I have an average sized penis. I am not sure I could get it up with a dude who looks like me standing over me. So I don't know if I could actually get up on stage. First and foremost, I'm fairly confident I could not craft jokes, like write jokes that are funny. Like, I think I'm a fairly funny dude, but I am a very reactionary. Like, I'm not a podcaster who could sit here and do an entertaining podcast by myself. I need to play off people.
Right.
Like, maybe I could get up there and do crowd work. Maybe. But who's going to open mics to deal with the crowd work guy?
Mm.
The idea of like me actually sitting there like writing jokes, writing tags, not my skill set.
I'll tell you what your skill set is, though. Your skill set is this. Because when you DM me and you were like 7 o'clock for 2 hours, I was like, what? I couldn't talk and then you were like, I've been doing this for 400 episodes for 8 years. I'm like, yo, give this man some props. Because I was like, I'm going to run out of things to say. And you were like, I got you. That's your skill set. Because I couldn't do that.
Well, and it's a very developed muscle. I didn't come out of the fucking womb and be like, I'm a good podcaster.
Yeah.
There's a lot of imposter syndrome that went into this over the years.
Sure.
Especially because for me, most of my entertainment background before this was I was the behind the scenes guy.
Right.
I was a music executive for a small indie label that I started. Like,
right.
I wasn't trying to be in the fucking spotlight. I was trying to build up other artists.
Right.
And then when I got into adult entertainment, like, it was production work. I worked security for girls. Like, all of it was behind the scenes stuff.
Mm.
I wasn't trying to be a face. Like, the idea of having any fame or infamy has never been a motivation in my life. Like, even when I started this podcast with my original co-host, I was the second fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
She was supposed to be the star. I was supposed to be, the second banana, the guy to bounce shit off of, handled the technical shit. It's just evolved from there.
Got it. Well, but yeah, in order to be able to drive a conversation for 2 hours straight, that's a skill set, my friend. That's a talent. So be proud of yourself for being able to do that.
Well, thank you.
And to be able to do that with strangers, brand new ones for 400 episodes, they're
not all strangers. Some of them are just strange.
Some of them are just strange. But that's and a variety of personalities.
Well, as we discussed, as we were setting this up, they don't always work out well. Sometimes I get punched in the head.
Sometimes you get punched in the head. Yeah, when you got punched in the head, that happened before the interview even started, right?
No, it was in the middle of it.
Oh my God.
No, I haven't managed to piss off someone so badly that they punched me before the interview. Your urge to punch me isn't rising, right?
No. I also think we're far enough away that I think you'd be able to defend yourself.
I was able to defend myself in that situation too.
That's true.
But yeah, thankfully the table's wider now, so I could make it so hopefully you don't actually connect.
Yes.
Notice.
You can duck and weave.
Hank did not say he did not want to punch me.
That's true.
He never said, I do not want to punch you. He's just I think I will fail.
I would not succeed, but I don't want to punch you. I like you a lot.
Thank you. I like you too. Please don't punch me.
Yes. Will not happen. Not in this interview.
Next one. The second one just
Bam.
walks right in the door, just cracks me in the jaw. It's like, oh, let's record now.
Watch my limp wrist try to hit you in the face. Yep.
Oh, don't play the stereotypes. Hey, come on. I bet you got a mean right hook.
When the intention is there,
Right?
it's pretty stiff. That's right.
Back to it, it's just like people got to accept their limitations in life. Like, I'm never going to dunk.
Mm.
You know, it's better off if, I figure out like, hey, this is my lane. Podcasting is my lane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy here. I love this medium. Absolutely love this medium. It's the last Wild West medium because, like, what you do involves a lot of gatekeepers.
Sure.
It involves a lot of people with a lot of money saying, Hank is good enough to be on our set. Hank is good enough to be a part of our ensemble, our cast, our whatever. And then there are so many people that go into that production's like, there's executives, there's writers, there's directors. There's so many people that could particularly change the product that you're involved with.
Right.
This medium is still the Wild West.
Right.
There are no focus groups for podcasts.
You get all the control.
I got all the control, and all the platforms, except for YouTube, don't care what we say as long as we're not promoting hate.
Oh, yeah.
If you were to headline your own sitcom, how much stuff would you have to tone down to make it past executives, make it past the network?
Right. You're asking me a serious question.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my brand is adorable, so not a lot,
Oh, I heard the Blackie joke. Go Google that.
That's a good joke.
Oh, it's a solid joke.
It's a well-crafted joke.
Oh, I'm not knocking the joke.
It probably wouldn't make it past. It probably wouldn't make it onto a network.
Right. That's my point. Not that it was a bad joke in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
My point is that probably wouldn't make it past the network.
Yeah. It wouldn't make it onto cable.
That's the difference in the mediums.
Sure.
And that's one of the things I really appreciate about comedy too. For the most part, you can say what you want to say on a stage.
Right.
If it doesn't play to the audience, you get that feedback then and there, but no one's stopping you from saying it.
And also, what you say doesn't influence you from, it doesn't hurt you from other work. Like, what's really interesting? So I don't know when this is going to be released. We're shooting this the week of Thanksgiving, but next week, the week after Thanksgiving, I have a general meeting with a Hallmark executive. So I have a long-standing relationship with this executive who, when she used to be at Disney, I worked with her when.
Hank, why are you here? I'm ruining your career right now. I'm actively hurting your career right now.
No. It's fine. I did a Disney movie with her when she used to be at Disney, but I have stand-up clips. We're friends on Instagram, and she actively knows, my work. But sometimes you wonder, with the work that you put out, if it influences what your bookability could be in the future. But then again, you can get to a certain point where it doesn't matter. Like, I think of certain comedians like Sarah Silverman. Sarah Silverman still tells R-rated material.
Oh, she's filthy.
Yeah, but she's a star. That's the difference. She can still be in kids' movies like School of Rock.
Or Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? She can still do Old Navy commercials. Do you know what I mean? She can still do G-rated, like, brands will still work with her. So I hope to be able to cross over.
I hope so too, because I like you, and I would really feel bad if I negatively hurt your career right now.
I know, because we open this podcast talking about sex work.
Oh yeah, and I was
And
going to ask what you watch on OnlyFans at some point. So,
watch what?
like, what kind of porn you watch?
I don't watch OnlyFans.
But what about pornography?
Pornography, just your standard gay porn.
Well, what's your standard gay porn?
You know what I like? I like compilations because I like just getting to. I like just just. I like nutting videos.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know what I mean? I'm like down and dirty. Just
right to the finish.
Right to the finish. I'm busy.
No foreplay. No.
That's It's either that or I like the cinematic artistic quality, like ones that are literally like cinema verite shot like
they're fucking scored and
oh yeah. Like there are gay studios that shoot
like passionate.
Yeah, that
like both people are making eye contact as they fuck.
Totally. Yeah, and I can't deal with ones that deal with like that get too crazy, like incest ones. I can't deal with ones where one of them looks like they're 10 years old. I can't deal with
Does the faux thing happen a lot in gay porn?
The what? The faux?
Because it's very important that they state they're like stepbrother. It's they can't legally be related because it becomes a legal issue at that point.
Oh, right.
You can't play someone's brother. You have to very specifically say stepbrother, stepmother.
I don't know.
Or stepfather in this case of gay porn, but
the gay porn. I don't know. The thumbnails pop up, but I don't click them.
So I'm also curious, like, because you do have a boyfriend. Do you guys ever watch porn together?
We don't.
Really?
You know what's interesting? We have a very tame sex life. It almost feels very separate. I mean, we've been together for 5 years.
Is the magic just dying in the sex life, or
the magic doesn't die in the sex life. The magic it just becomes a very boring sex life. It becomes a very tame sex life. It becomes a very clinical. Like
do you guys like schedule this shit? Like, is it in a calendar? Hey, it's Wednesday, 8 p.m. We're fucking.
You know what? This is going to sound so unromantic, but we can go for weeks without having sex.
My mind is literally blown. Like, let me know if this is offensive, but I've often joked that if I were in a gay relationship, I wouldn't get shit done because if it was two dudes with male sex drives,
you'd be fucking every single day.
Right. Like, how would we get anything fucking done?
I know. Two dudes with people imagine that, but
is that offensive?
No, it's not offensive at all. But I guess maybe we're just different. Maybe we're not that attracted to each other. No, I'm very attracted to each other.
Yeah, like you're on camera, but don't say that.
We love each other very, very much. You know what I will say? I have someone who we love each other. I have someone who I say I love you too every single day. We get kisses every single day. We cuddle it every single day. So
that shit's important.
Yes. And also gay sex takes work. Gay sex takes preparation. And I think what it comes down to is I think we're both just lazy. I think we're both busy and I think we're both lazy.
It's like, I don't have time to clean out. Like,
probably. So,
you have hand and mouth stuff that doesn't take.
Yeah, that's what it is. The head and mouth stuff. So, we can go for quite a long time without engagement.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, very much so. Because but we kiss a lot. And I would not be okay without
like that level of intimacy.
If we didn't kiss, every single day, I would be upset. So
your needs are being met. That's the important part.
yes, exactly.
No one else should be judging anyone else's relationship as long as the two people that are in it are happy.
Yes, I think so. I think that the two of us have something that's very unique, especially for two guys. But I also think that people are probably not having as much sex as they're.
Oh no, definitely not. I mean, this is why I'm a horrible human being, because like on average, my relationships last months.
Right.
And it's because I'm a fucking horrible honeymooner. Like, I am totally down for like hot fucking passion, lots of sex.
Yeah.
And then the minute it starts slowing down, like I statistically lose interest. And
Oh, really? Is that you?
yeah, I'm not a good person.
Do you need the sex to continue?
It's never gone longer when it stopped.
Oh no.
It's one of those, well, like the minute it's not like this is wildly passionate, like not just the sex, just the whole like wild passion of like, you know, when you first get into a relationship, it's just like, oh, you can't stop but talk to each other and like be involved in like all you are is like spending time with each other.
Right.
And then the minute that starts to slow down, I see something shiny and
You got to be willing to be bored with the other person.
yeah, I've never been able to do that.
Really? What's your longest relationship?
6 months.
6 months in your adult life ever?
Oh yeah, 6 months.
Wow.
And that one was wildly unhealthy. So,
oh, really? In what way? Was it? Would you say it was like toxic?
Oh yeah.
If you could label it toxic.
Oh, definitely toxic on both our parts. Like, she had probably one of the most traumatized human beings I'd ever met, and part of what was attractive to me, besides her being physically attractive, was that as much as life had shat on her, she managed to still be like upbeat and positive. And one of those things, like when it went as long as it did, it wasn't meant to. It started off as just a sex thing, and then she just started treating me really well, and like it just kept going. Yeah.
Well, how did it end after six months? I mean, that's kind of a flash in the pan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I started to freak out that like the similarities between our relationship and my parents' relationship was there. So my trauma fucking came to the fucking surface.
Right.
And I did not communicate that well.
Right.
Because I was not dealing with my own trauma very well, she got distant and she communicates for shit. And that didn't make things any fucking better. So yeah, it just kind of exploded.
Oh no, like yelling and stuff.
No, not even. Like it was literally like we were supposed to. I had taken time off work for us to go like on a road trip vacation together, and she last minute couldn't get away. I don't know if it was legitimate or she had an excuse, but either way, the trip wasn't happening. Work at the time said, "Hey, I know you're on vacation, but we need someone to go cover something in Texas. Are you down to do it?" I'm like, yeah, this trip isn't fucking happening. I didn't consult with her at all. I just said, yeah. And I got on a plane to Dallas the next day. While I was in fucking Dallas, she got incredibly distant and started getting shady. And like, I kind of freaked out that she was cheating on me. Broke up with her via fucking voicemail.
Oh no.
Just because I just got in my own fucking head.
God.
And then when I got back, like we had a fight in my parking lot for 3 hours, and yeah, it did not reconcile. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Do you regret that?
Yes, and then on and off things happened over the course of 10 years.
Oh, things it didn't just end there.
Oh no.
It went on and off for 10 years.
Well, mostly, oh yeah, it was a shit show. My audience has heard about some of this shit, but like, yeah, it was.
Well, let's dredge it back up.
for the new people that are here for Hank, who have not heard this. Jeez, Hank, I was talking about your relationship, and then we're getting into mine.
Yeah. Well, my relationship is healthy. Let's talk about yours.
Like my toxic bullshit. So yeah. So this is back in Chicago, and so
was it during the winter months? Because cold weather will make anybody.
No, we broke up in July.
Okay. So it was lovely outside.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely lovely.
Fucking gorgeous.
I broke up with her on July 7th.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we don't talk for months. Eventually, like, I do the smart thing to leave her number out my fucking phone. We don't speak for about, probably 3-4 years. She finds me on fucking Snapchat. Because my phone number hasn't changed, and that's all based off your phone number. And just happened to catch me at a point where it was just like, oh, hey. Ends up moving in with me for a month in LA.
Interesting.
And that was fucked because we didn't talk about reconciling. She was running away from something in it.
And then, like, you start having sex again.
No, we never did when she moved back in. Like, it started off with, like, I immediately fell into boyfriend mode. I'm making fucking breakfast for us and shit like that.
Oh, well, that's sweet.
Yeah, well, I did love her.
Yeah. Did you tell her you loved her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No, it was a shit show. It was an absolute shit show. Like, I didn't tell her I loved her the first time until after we had broken up. It was a whole fucking to-do. And she lived with me for a month. She was just running away from something in Chicago. She could never really communicate what the fuck was going on.
was that something another relationship?
I don't even know. She literally was like, I'm over Chicago. Can I come out and stay with you in LA?
Wow.
I said, sure. And like, didn't really give much thought beyond that. And like, we never had a discussion of like, are we reconciling? What is happening here? She ended up basically being my roommate for a month.
Okay.
Then she bailed back to Chicago.
A roommate that you loved.
Yeah.
And then she bailed on you and went back to Chicago, leaving you brokenhearted.
Not actually all that badly on that point, because when she came out she just wasn't the same person. Life had like finally fucking broken her, and it was just like, oh, you are not the same like hopeful, upbeat person I was in love with.
Oh, she sounds like a bit of a manic depressive, huh?
I don't think it's manic depressive so much as just like naivety on like what life was about when we were first involved. Just like, I was legitimately impressed with like how much life had shed on that girl, and that we managed to like, she still managed to be really upbeat, because I am not an upbeat person. Like, I'm pretty fucking negative at times.
Right.
So it was just like, wow, life has been much crueler to you than it has ever been to me, and you still somehow see the fucking star and the glimmer. I find that attractive. It balances me out a little. I don't know. But that had been broken when she came out to LA. Like, whatever happened in the intern had finally like pushed her over the edge on, the optimism.
Right. What do you think it was?
I could only, bad relationships, bad dudes. Who fucking knows? That is the ongoing problem. And part of the reason that her and I are so toxic is she can't communicate for shit.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Do you think she ever went to therapy to figure that out?
She didn't. Fuck no, she didn't. But fast forward after that, like, we didn't talk for a little while. But then, like, she would hit me up every once in a while, and like, legitimately became platonic friends.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right. It was. And like, I came back to Chicago to deal with some shit. Like, we hung out. It wasn't weird. We were talking about who, like, we were openly talking with each other about like other people we were hooking up with and all that. Like, legitimately my friend. It was cool. Fast forward to right before the pandy. She's like, oh, yeah, I've heard you've talked about me on the podcast a bunch.
She's listening to your podcast. Hello.
I mean, I don't know if she's listening at this point, but she was 3-4 years ago. She's like, I'd like to, come out to LA and hang out for a couple of days. I'm like, yeah, come on out. Like, figures she'd crash on the couch, whatever. Like, picking her up at LAX, the energy was just different. Like, the hug I got, like, picking her up at LAX, the energy was just different. We come back here.
Describe it. Describe the energy.
It was intimate.
Oh.
Like, we come back here and we get into my place at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We end up ordering Thai food, watching movies. She's feeding me off her plate.
Wow.
And, we end up jumping into fucking bed together.
Nice.
regrettable in hindsight. At the
Okay.
moment, awesome.
Okay.
Because like in the moment, I'm like a little drunk, full of Thai food. I'm like, yeah, her and I can just have sex and it won't be a big deal.
Right.
And the sex itself probably wouldn't have been a big deal, but we spent the whole next day in bed, like, and anytime I'd roll over, I think she'd try to maintain contact with me. It
Right.
was super fucking intimate, and it opened up wounds I didn't even know I still had.
Right.
So it was just like, and that whole trip ended up being real fucking messy by the end of it.
Because it was like, where were we? What's the status?
Right.
What's
We
happening?
can't communicate. We tried to record a fucking podcast that was a shit show that never aired.
Oh, do you still have the footage?
Oh, yeah, I still have it. It's bad. It's bad. It happened at like 3 o'clock in the morning after we'd both been drinking. It was bad.
Why? What happened in that podcast?
Oh, just, I was trying to I love that you became the host of the show all of a sudden.
I mean, I think this is a fascinating story.
Basically, I tried to rehash some of the, so I almost tried to get some closure for our first breakup on air and talked about some shit that like I felt that there was enough enough distance and history behind to not make it be traumatic, and I was wrong.
It was traumatic, but it was traumatic for her.
Oh yeah, like there was a point where her and I had gotten into a fight, and I had just fucked off to Indianapolis.
Huh.
And down in Indianapolis, I was visiting my best friend, and another female friend of mine, like, basically was throwing it at me. Like, if I had wanted to fuck her that night, she would have fucked me. And honestly, I almost fucked her that night. My best friend, like, while I was drunk, was like, dude, you have a girlfriend. What are you doing? I'm like, you are right, sir. You are correct, sir. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to stop what I am doing. And I broached the subject on air with this girl. Like, I'm like, I never cheated on you. I thought about it, but I never did it. And that was apparently very hurtful. Yeah, that was pretty much the end of us doing a recording because she...
How long did it last? It didn't last 2 hours.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, that was because at that point she just started crying and...
Oh, God, on camera.
She started crying on camera and just... I think, like, instantly regretted that her and I had hooked up, like, 24 hours earlier.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was rough.
And you still have the footage?
Somewhere, yeah.
Wow.
I'm never going to air it.
No. Although, it'll probably be one of your highest rated episodes if you ever did.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be pretty shitty to her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
Would. No, but I'm saying that's television gold. You know what I mean? Like, that's what reality producers want. That's the stuff of Real Housewives drama.
Oh yeah, a girl crying and like, oh my God, I'm such a slut. Like, I can't believe it. Yeah.
That's Real Housewives gold. I mean, people crying and peeing on themselves and flipping tables and, yeah, but I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry for you that you went through that. I'm sitting here talking to you, and right now I
mean, we could get around. No, we can't get around the phone.
Yeah, no.
No.
The relationship I have right now is with you. So I'm sorry for you that you had to go through that.
Hey, it makes for a good story.
Yeah, it made for a terrific story. Thank you for sharing it with me.
And the audience. There's cameras and horrible people were like, I've heard this already. God damn it.
How many times have you shared it? A few times.
A couple times, but mostly I shared it when it was real fresh in 2020. That hasn't been a topic of conversation in years.
People probably didn't expect it to pop up for me.
No, definitely not. Like, I was planning to talk to you about comedy and your own sex life and your own relationship.
I know, right?
You turned it around on me, Hank. You fucking bamboozled me. It's like, oh, no. Tell me about your traumatic relationships, Matt.
I have that way. People seem to really like to open up to me.
Well, I also have zero shame and will just fucking... It's a podcast. We're supposed to.
Yeah, we're a good pair. It worked. It worked out.
Right? Well, meet your new host, everyone. I quit.
Absolutely not. I couldn't do this. 400 episodes in, 2 hours per guest. No way.
Why not?
This is talent right here. Right here.
Tell your reps I need representation.
Absolutely. Would you ever go into acting?
Technically, I have.
Yeah.
I have a AVN nomination for Best on Sex Performance.
What?
Yeah.
What was the performance?
I played Rabbi Mordecai in Jews Love Black Cock.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, no one's ever booking me.
You have a nomination. Did you go to the ceremony?
Oh yeah, I bombed on stage in front of the whole industry.
Oh my God.
I'll show you the footage when we get off air. But
oh my Lord. Congratulations.
yeah, I got a credit on Showtime for that even.
Congratulations. Do you have an IMDb credit?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's incredible. Who was the host of that AVN ceremony? Kathy Griffin?
No, Ari Spears.
Ari Spears? Yep. That's hysterical that Ari Spears hosted that year.
Yeah, he hosted like 2 years in a row.
That's so funny. Was it held in Las Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
I heard those ceremonies are like a hoot.
So, to be fair, and my audience is probably aware of this, I've ditched them every year except for the year I was nominated.
That's so funny.
Like,
well, you have to go if you're nominated. It's a big party. You know what I mean?
Well, 10 years of going to the convention, I ditched the award show every year.
You wait, there's a convention part.
Oh yeah.
Right. And you go to the convention.
And no one ditched the award show.
And why do you ditch the award show? Just because it's boring?
Because I didn't feel the need to sit there
and clap, golf clap
for best blowjob.
Right.
Like, cool, girl.
Eat a plate of greens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the convention seems like that'd be the fun part. You just look at the latest vibrators or whatever.
Well, the convention's a blast. Plus, like, the after parties are a good time.
Right. I would imagine. I've never gone.
We should take you.
I would go. It sounds like it would be fun.
It's in January.
I would go. Sounds, yeah.
Yeah, and these days, they actually, I don't know how I feel about this. It's on like one hand, it's cool, but on the other hand, it's kind of fucked up as a separate ceremony. They have the gay VNs. Like the
gay VNs. I've heard of that.
They have the gay VNs the night before the AVNs. It's like, on one hand, it's cool that there's representation for the gay VNs, but on the other hand, it's like, shouldn't this just be all one award show?
That's so funny. I guess they do it for organizational purposes.
I don't know. It's a fairly recent thing, but it's just like,
I'm sure I'm not offended. I'm sure they do it just to keep things organized, just to make sure that.
Well,
and it's a whole different section of performers, right?
Right, but you could. I mean, I guess if you included all the gay performers in the main AVNs, it would extend the runtime of the show too long, potentially.
Right.
But it just feels like weird, separate but equal. Like,
right.
Hey, we acknowledge that you guys deserve awards, but we'll give you your own award show.
Right.
But the one that goes on Showtime, not for you.
Oh, the gay VNs aren't aired?
I don't think so. I could be completely wrong on that.
Are the AVNs aired?
They're aired on Showtime about 6 months after.
Oh.
Fun fact, the year I bombed in 2018 was the first year it was live streamed.
Oh.
I got a very angry call from a publicist about what I was doing.
Oh, what do you mean by bombed? What did you do?
Oh, so sorry to the audience who's definitely heard this story. We won for Best Comedy.
Okay.
For Jews Love Black Cock. I was sitting about 4th row center. I stand up to give a standing ovation. One of my friends who's standing behind me like, dude, you're in this movie. Go on stage.
Oh, okay.
And in my mind, I calmly walked on stage. The footage says otherwise. The footage shows that I ran on stage. I'm also dressed like a rabbi. They hand me the trophy. Every other category, like best action, best whatever, the whole cast got on stage.
Right.
No one else showed up.
You were the only person to receive this trophy.
Uh-huh.
And did you speak?
I did. Very poorly.
Oh.
I just kind of diarrhea in the mouth. I believe I screamed Shalom AVN at one point.
Uh-oh.
And just kind of was just exuberated. And then eventually ended my speech with, where the fuck is Joanna Angel, who was the director in the movie, who was making her way from the back of the room. And then handed the trophy to Joanna, who made a real speech.
Uh-oh. Well, at least she salvaged it, sort of.
Oh yeah, no, and if you look at the Showtime edit, you see me run to stage, and then you see Joanna come to stage, me hand her the trophy and her speech. They completely cut my bullshit out.
Well, they saved it.
They did, but it was also the first year it was live streamed, so there was a lot of people who saw it live who watched me have the weirdest, because it's the weirdest bomb. As I am bombing, like as I am saying fucking gibberish into this goddamn microphone.
Right.
My friends are in the pit fucking giving me standing ovations.
That's amazing.
And it's just like, in my brain at the second, like, could I do stand-up? Could I do stand-up? Like, people are giving me standing ovations, and I'm not even saying anything fucking really funny here.
That's so funny. What's the trophy for the AVN? Is it something?
It's like a gold trophy of like two people embracing.
That's so cute. Oh, that's so romantic.
Yes, we're bringing the romance back to porn.
Yeah. Well, sex is intimate.
Yeah, real life sex.
That's so true.
Like, that is what so many people need to be aware of. It's like, porn sex is not real sex.
Yeah. So all art is fiction, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, but art is what allows you to illuminate your life. Like it's what gives your life meaning, gives your life perspective. It was something like that. And I want to say it was someone like fucking famous who said it. Like I'm talking like Dalai Lama level who said it. It wasn't someone I heard it I want to say it was like Mark Manson Mark Manson's podcast or someone that I just listened to who just quoted.
I promise it was not me.
No.
I don't ever say anything that smart.
No, it was so regarding this porn thing about, yes, like real sex isn't or no, like
porn sex is performative.
Porn sex is performative. Of course it is. And it's not real sex and these people really aren't in love with each other, but they're performing something that can illuminate some intimacy and that can show intimacy and can hopefully bring a little bit of romance, real romance into someone else's life.
Oh, it definitely has the potential to do so. That's why part of the reason I was curious that like if you and your partner watch porn together, because
oh yeah, good question. Yeah, because it has real life consequences,
right? And not even consequences, but it could be something that's bonding for you because that's potentially an advantage you have as a same-sex couple is that you guys can watch stuff that you're both attracted to because we're, heteronormative, hetero porn is, generally geared towards just the dude and isn't very great for.
It is. It's always about just his nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just a weird dichotomy because like the women make more in porn. They are the stars. The male talent is very much there to be a prop. But for the end user, it is definitely geared towards the dude.
Mm-hmm.
So,
for when you've had female guests here, do they, when the ones that have had partners, do they talk about how they watch porn with their partners?
Not really, just because it's kind of like me asking if like you and your partner are watching comedy specials together.
Oh, really?
Because it's work.
Because it's interesting.
Because it's work. Like I'm much more likely to ask them about if they're watching comedy specials than.
That's so interesting.
As I like to say to people all the time, it's mostly off air, is like, if you were a dentist, do you want to talk about mouths all the fucking time?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, with a lot of the performers and stuff like that, I want to talk to them about music, comedy. I want to talk to them about travel. I want to talk to them about the other stuff besides what they're doing day in and day out.
Right.
Or you've never been on a porn set, so I'm here to make it a little weird.
Right. That's so funny.
But I think we should bring you to AVN. I think we should fucking get you at the convention, get you in the AVNs.
to do a little meet and greet.
Yeah.
That's so funny. See some I'm like, "Hey, I recognize you."
Like, hold on. Can you drop your pants real quick?
I know, right? Do they do that at the gay VNs?
I don't think so. Like, believe it or not, the conventions are actually pretty fucking tame.
I would imagine it's just like regular conventions. Like they just do signings, they do photographs.
Yeah. Like that was actually a really big controversy last year, was the dress code, because it was the first year at the new home, which is Resort World. Resort World's this is the first, last year was the first year at it. And they had a pretty strict dress code for people.
There's a dress code
Mhm.
for the attendees?
No, for the performers.
Really?
Like, you can't have exposed, like, I forgot what the exact dress code was, but it's like, nipples definitely can't come out.
What?
Yeah.
For the women?
Mm-hmm.
No nipples?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's wild.
Why is that?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was a security concern, like, oh my God, if there's nipples out, the fans won't know how to behave, or I don't know. It was just a rule set in place. Like, there was a bunch of dress code stuff. Everyone was very up in arms about it last year.
That's so interesting. What an interesting world. You work in such a fascinating sector of the entertainment industry. It is. I mean, and it's just, and what's so fascinating about it is that it's just such a huge part of the economy too. It generates so much money. Generates so much money. And it's such a big piece of the entertainment industry, and it's still so unregulated.
I wouldn't say it's unregulated.
Really?
There's very heavy regulations. Like, the fact that if you were to shoot adult content,
Yeah.
legally, you have to have paperwork that the federal government can come and audit whenever they want, and you have to publicly state where these records are held, so the FBI can come audit it whenever they want.
Do you think the FBI would come audit it whenever they want?
I was recently told by an entertainment lawyer in the industry that, like, one person in the history of this being a law was ever hit with it, which was Joe Francis from Girls Gone Wild.
Okay.
But they could.
But Joe Francis had it coming, so.
Oh, I'm not arguing that. Not arguing that in the least bit. But they could.
Right.
I mean, that's the reason we all have insurance, right? Like, we could get into a car accident.
Right.
We could have a medical emergency. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully we'll never need it. But better to, dot your I's and cross your T's.
Right.
And do everything the right fucking way.
Yes.
And with MasterCard and Visa, dialing it back on the billing to have specific standards. Some of the sites, you can't have urine involved. You can't have blood play involved, even if it's between two consenting adults, because the billing partners won't allow you to do it. It's crazy, because in a mainstream horror movie, you definitely could have a pair of tits out. You could definitely have a sex scene as long as there's no penetration, and you could have people disemboweled in the same movie. Can't do that in porn. The credit card companies won't allow it because it's obscene.
Oh, interesting. The obscenity laws are different.
The obscenity laws are really poorly defined. I believe the quote is, the judge said, "I will know obscenity when I see it."
Right.
There's just a lot less artistic freedom to do stuff in porn, and there's just not the budgets. Though porn makes a lot of money, it doesn't have the budgets that mainstream has.
Right.
Like, what's the smallest crew you've worked on with, like, a TV show? Like, how many people were in that crew?
Like, for like a mainstream crew?
Yeah.
I mean, probably like 200 people.
Like the smallest one. The absolutely 200 people on the smallest one?
Are you talking like a network television show? Yeah. I mean, those crews are like 150, 200 people. Like for like a cable TV show. Yeah. I mean, no joke.
Yeah, I was on set for Wicked, which is one of the biggest players in the game. I think there were 7 crew members.
Yeah.
And none of them are union, so they're definitely not earning the union scale.
Right.
And that was a whole feature. 7 crew members.
Incredible.
And I have been on set for MindGeek, which is the parent company of Brazzers, where there were 3 of us. For the whole crew. 3 of us.
Wow.
Like, our makeup person was doubling as the intimacy coordinator.
Shoestring budget.
Yeah. And that's just how porn works. It was funny. The first time I was ever on like an actual mainstream set, I was a personal assistant to a musician, and he was doing some promotional video. And I'm looking around, I'm like, why are there so many fucking people here? Like, we could get this whole thing done with like 4 guys. Like, why are there so many fucking people here?
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of people on.
Yeah, this was like effectively a music video shoot. And there were 30 people just for that. Like, maybe 4 hours of shooting. My mind was just like, why?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I do a lot of commercials also for 30 seconds. It's amazing. I mean, what they bring out. Just even like the food budget. I'd be like, you're cooking all this food, you know? Just the tables that they set up, the trailers that they set up, the amount of crew that's there, the amount of takes that they do. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. There is definitely a lot of bloat in mainstream.
Yeah. But they do it.
Oh, they do it. And
they do it. They spend that money.
And they have a much more polished product than
they do.
Almost any porn. Like there is definitely some very high-end porn that is very polished, but that is few and far between. I was literally watching a scene, for my own pleasure.
Right.
The other day, and it's just like, holy fuck. Does the shooter have like the fucking DTs? Like the shake on this guy's handheld shot. Like, what is happening here?
Oh, really?
And that's just my editor brain. Like, come on, man. Can we at least get some stabilization going?
Right.
The scene was still hot, don't get me wrong, but it was just like, the bar is so low.
Yeah, we're not like back in the 70s now where you had full budgets, like in the Bruce, not like the Dirk Diggler days, like the Boogie Nights days.
Yeah, but I don't even know how much like
those were like full sets, right?
I don't even know if they're really that much. Like, I'm sure there was more crew then, just because there was more into having to operate everything. Like,
because that was film.
Yeah, it's film. So you need someone to fucking run canisters. There's so much more that goes into fucking shooting on real film than shooting on these fucking things.
Right.
And that's the wild thing to me is for overall production is like we are in an age where a fucking full feature-length film was shot on a Sony FX3.
Or a fucking phone.
Right. Was Tangerine was
the first film.
Yeah.
Shot. Yeah.
Completely on iPhones.
Yeah. Went to Sundance.
Yep. I saw it at Next Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I used to work at the Ace.
But
it's just like we're in an era where technically it should be insanely cheap to shoot almost anything. Yet, why are we not seeing more mid-budget or fucking indies rise to prominence?
That's a good question. Well, that's because we're in this superhero era still.
I don't even think it's because of the superheroes. I think it's because the studios aren't willing to take a risk on anything that isn't established IP for the most part.
Isn't that superhero?
Well, yeah, but it's just like anything else. If it's not a superhero, it's some other recycled IP.
Right.
Like, what, we just got a new Willy Wonka movie recently?
Right. Is that out yet?
I don't even know.
Yes,
but that is coming down the pipe. Like,
it is.
do we really need another Willy Wonka movie?
I know. It's boring to me.
It's a bummer for someone. You've seen The Other Room. I'm a bit of a cinephile.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you have what looks like a terrific collection.
It bums me out that, like, there's so much money involved with movies now that people, the studios, are afraid to take a risk on something that's not an established IP. There's so much money tied up in this gamble that it's like, we can't throw 30 million at something to maybe make a profit.
Right.
And it bums me out.
They're willing to acquire, but they're not willing to take the risk themselves.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. It's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
The 90s is not the 2000s anymore.
And, like, how many amazing voices are not being shown to the world because these studios won't take the risk?
Yeah. How many voices aren't being developed anymore?
Yeah.
How many fresh voices aren't being given a chance to speak?
The next Tarantino could be fucking out there, but their fucking Reservoir Dogs isn't being greenlit.
Right.
Have you ever thought about making, your own product, your own television show or feature?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I would like to. I don't know if I have the creative juices in me to tell my own story.
Are you kidding? You get up on stage and do it.
That's true, but 22 episodes just, is hard to squeeze out, my friend.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But 1 2-hour feature.
Yeah, that's true. This meeting that I have with Hallmark, and yes, I know it's Hallmark, but one of the people in the meeting, is a development executive. So who knows where that might go?
Hey, their money spends the same.
Yeah, they have money. So maybe they'll want to hear some ideas. But I've always done better saying other people's lines than I have been able to tell my own stories. I don't know if that's me being locked into this Hollywood system of me. I've always been a supporting player. That's just sort of the nature of where my place in Hollywood has been.
Why do you feel that is? Is that because no one's given a shot at you at being a leading man, or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my special is titled "I'm Not Supposed to Be Here" for many reasons. One of them was I was in a motorcycle accident a couple of days right before I shot my special, and then the other is like the metaphor of like being gay and Asian, and I'm not supposed to be here, and and having to sort of really like claw my way into the system. And dealing with a little bit of racism, a little bit of homophobia, and a lot of roles, even if you look at, like, we're talking about Hallmark, the Hallmark slate, most of their stuff is white leads. So, I know where my place would be, which would be in the supporting category, and I'm happy to do that. So that's how I would be pitching myself, and I do it well.
I mean, it's well and good to do it well, and you do. Don't. No one should diminish that in any way, shape, or form. But there's always wanting more,
and I do want more. Creating my own stories probably would be heading in the right direction. I think it would be finding also the right partner who would be willing to work with me in having that story, helping that story come to fruition. So, I mean, there's a lot of red tape when it comes to Hollywood, you know.
Definitely.
So, the short answer to your question is yes, I have thought of creating something for myself, but it's easy to be like, will it ever, it's easy to get discouraged when you see all of the work it would take in order to find success, in order to see that happen. And it's much easier to be like, well, I know where my status is. I know what has worked before, and where I can get roles, where I can get work. And so I can pursue those opportunities and continue to get work.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Got to eat. You got to pay rent.
Right.
But if I were to put you on the spot right now, what's the elevator pitch on the thing that you would create if you could?
You know what's so funny? I grew up watching Ally McBeal. Isn't that the gayest thing you ever heard? Close.
Margaret Cho, but
Margaret. I love Margaret Cho. Love Margaret Cho, but Ally McBeal. I've always wanted to. So I've always wanted to do an attorney, sort of like play an attorney whose personal life is a mess, but who's a brilliant legal mind. So he's great in a courtroom, and that's the elevator pitch. And he would be surrounded by a bunch of great quirky characters in the law offices, and parents that probably don't accept that he's gay, so he's got to deal with that. And his dating life is a mess, so he's dealing with that, and that's the pitch.
I definitely think that could work.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the bones of.
That sounds like a legit show.
Yeah.
I'm curious real quick.
Yes.
Would you ever play straight?
I don't think I would pass as straight.
You're an actor. It's acting.
I don't think I'm good enough to play straight.
Fair enough.
I appreciate you posing that question, though.
Well, because it's part of the craft. Like, I don't think there's any shame in Heath Ledger and Gyllenhaal playing gay. So, like, it should be going both ways.
Right. I absolutely agree with you. And I think that gay actors who are capable of passing, such as Neil Patrick Harris or Matt Bomer, like those are actors that have the skill set to be able to play straight. I'm too effeminate to play it. But if I were able to, I absolutely do think that I should have the opportunity to play straight.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Absolutely. That's just not within my wheelhouse.
Fair enough. Like, as we talked about earlier, like sometimes you just have to accept what your lane is.
Exactly. Just not in my skill set. But if it were in my skill set, give me those goddamn roles.
I mean, hell, Neil Patrick Harris fucking killed it being a womanizer.
Oh, completely killed it being a womanizer. Did you watch that show?
Oh yeah, I watched that show quite a bit.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was a good show. I had such a crush on Colby Smulders back in the day.
Yeah, talented.
Oh yeah, and then also like Neil Patrick Harris and Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh yeah, very funny.
Which is what like pretty much led to How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that led to his comeback. Yeah. Honestly,
I should really Google like what Neil Patrick Harris was doing in the interim between Doogie Howser and
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Yeah,
I mean that was his comeback.
What a weird movie. Like, why are there not more movies like that? That is just a weird fucking, like, can you imagine that movie getting greenlit today?
No. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And also to have an Asian and a brown lead, right?
Technically two Asians.
Technically two Asian. That's true. Yeah. A yellow and a brown lead.
Yep.
Terrific. I would love to have either one of those careers, John Cho or a Kal Penn career.
Still wild that Kal Penn just like, I'm going to go work for the Obama administration, give up acting.
Yeah, gave up acting for a couple of years and then came back. I wonder what he's doing now. He just decided to re-enter the business.
I mean, that must be nice to be like, yeah, that's cool. I just took a hiatus for a number of years. What a god.
Go into the politics.
I'm back, guys. Can you set something up?
Can you put me back on television? And also to be in a position where you can just come back and go back on television. And probably to book series regular jobs too, because those are not easy jobs to get. Those are like $50,000 episode jobs.
Oh, I know. What's funny is when you look at Kal Penn, he is best known, according to IMDb, for Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh, that's so funny. I mean, movies, feature films generally have higher status than television shows.
Oh, definitely. But it's funny, like his known fours are the 3 Harold and Kumar movies and National Lampoon's Van Wilder.
Wow.
Like,
I remember watching National Lampoon's Van Wilder, and you couldn't make a movie like that anymore. Too offensive.
Oh, 100% too offensive. But yeah, he has definitely been working. A lot of random stuff, like
probably a lot of voiceover also.
A fair amount of voiceover. Like he was just a voice in the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
Oh, okay.
This is his most recent credit. Before that, he was on Sesame Street.
Oh, wow.
Very nice, diverse career there.
Yes. Making lots of money.
Yeah. So for you, is it more about the money or is it more about the art?
I like the art. But I also like paying my bills.
Yeah. Eating is important.
Eating is important.
Look at me. I'm not trying to miss meals.
Yes, exactly. So I think you know what? When I'll rephrase. The representation is important. So it's not just about the art, it's about the representation. I am trying to get my face out there because I'm trying to represent Asians and gay people. And I believe the more of my face is seen, the more young Asians and young gay people can see that we belong.
Very fucking valid, and that's fucking amazing.
Because there's just not enough of us in the business. So, because I remember being younger and being inspired by John Cho and being inspired. I mean, I watched American Pie in the theaters and being like, who is that guy? Who is the MILF guy? You know what I mean? I mean, I remember seeing that.
So, at what age did you decide that you wanted to be an actor?
Probably young, man. I mean, young, like middle school, like just when I realized it was a career, like probably even before I realized it was a possibility, like you can make money doing it. I just wanted to be on TV. I wanted, like, I turned on the TV and I saw the kids that were on TV and I knew I wanted to be one of those kids.
Oh yeah.
So Full House, there was a little Asian kid named Harry that Stephanie Tanner dated for like 3 episodes. And I wanted to be that kid. She like married him in a backyard ceremony. Had a saran wrap veil and everything. I wanted to be him. Like, and that's representation right there. Like, it was moments like that.
Oh yeah.
That made me be like, oh yeah. So I mean, so maybe a moment like that, so that would be like elementary school.
Hell yeah. So why the detour to Christian college if this is what you wanted to do from elementary school?
I almost had to go to the Christian college because my parents wouldn't have let me It's not like I had the option to go to Juilliard, you know? Like, I was 17, I was raised religious, I was raised, uh, in the church. My I had applied to 5 colleges, I got into all 5, 3 of them were local to where I was raised, which was around the DC area. I knew I wasn't gonna go to any of those, so, Wheaton College, which is right where you grew up, Chicago, um, was a viable, I thought I was like, "Oh, I could do the Second City." They have a feeder program into the SNL. I could do SNL. I ended up, like, not doing Second City whatsoever. I was too scared to. I was too intimidated to do.
Really?
Yeah. Also, it was just so far into the city.
Yeah, Wheaton to Chicago's not a
No, it was like 45 minutes to an hour.
easily.
Yeah. But getting into the college, my parents were elated because it was like Wheaton College was considered very prestigious in the Christian community. I mean, it still is. And so I figured that was just sort of my way out of the house and into another state. And I was able to at least be able to do stand up, and be able to get out and do something on my own. Although I ended up going to a college where I was depressed most of the time.
That's a bummer.
Yes, but I was able to, leave home, and in many ways I was able to find my own voice. And I think going to the Christian college very clearly made me realize that this life was not for me. Like, no one gave it a shot more than I did, right? Like, this, like, like, I gave this lifestyle a good old college try, like, in every sense of the
Literally.
literally, in every sense of the word. So I studied abroad, at the University of Westminster in London during my junior year, and that was a nice time to be able to get out. So to be able to do that and to watch a lot of theater, and I still ended up graduating from Wheaton College, but and and then after Chicago, I went to New York City, and then that was a good time. I went to grad school for acting. That's when I came out literally, figuratively. Uh, I was able to go to grad school for acting, and I told my parents I was gay. um, I started studying what I loved.
Actually got on with your life.
I got on with my life. Yeah, I got my first job, which was in Law and Order, SVU.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I haven't stopped working since.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I know you weren't out when you were at Wheaton, but like, did you meet any other, gay kids that were either closeted or out?
Oh my God, so many. You could just spot them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could just kind of tell when they were just a little, like, when I finally came out, people were not surprised. Like, there was just a way that certain people carried themselves where people were like, "You are gay."
I just had a vision of you at Thanksgiving dinner with Thanksgiving coming up this week. You're like, "Mom, Dad, I'm out," and they're like, "Yeah, just pass the turkey."
Yeah, that's hilarious. You know what's funny? We don't have a good relationship.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's okay. It's fine. Lost my train of thought. A lot of the students at the college too, I don't know if they're out or not. I feel like
That's depressing. Like, to live your life just, repressing who you are is just.
Yes. I think it's I think some ended up like marrying women. I also know that like one guy was like having like anal sex like in the dorm showers while he was like an undergrad like in
Well, good on him for getting it in.
yeah, good on for him he was happening, doing it like unprotected. There was a lot of risky behavior going on. I was not participating in any of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know I was not getting any action while I was there. And they also like monitor our internet, so there was no outlet.
That's horrible.
Yes, that was so.
You're legally adults at that point. What the fuck?
It was an interesting experience, and you know what? That's an interesting thing to say too. We're legally adults because we were infantilized a lot.
That's fucking miserable.
Yeah, we were treated like children. They held our hands through a lot of things, and they put up a lot of guardrails. And a lot of it was they made it seem like it was for our safety or for our protection. And I don't know how much they really protected us from the real world because I don't know how ready a lot of the students were ready. I don't know how many people were really ready for the real world.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of them weren't.
No. Yeah, I think a lot of people had to stay within the community in order to function.
Yeah, that sounds like a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. I think that they do that on purpose so that they stay within the community.
Yeah, stay within the community, bring money back to the community.
I was just catching up with someone who was visiting at a friend's 40th birthday party here. And I was like, oh, what are you doing now? This was a former classmate of mine. And he was like, I just moved back to Glen Ellen, Wheaton, Illinois. And he's raising his family there. And I was like, that's so, you know what I mean? Like people move back to Wheaton Cottage. I feel like that's like moving back home with your abuser.
I agree.
Yeah. So
unfortunately, people do that because, unfortunately, it's the trauma they know.
That's what I think. So it's and the person who moved his family back to Glen Ellen, he was someone who did like the artist program like at Wheaton, like he was like an actor there who like was one of the more liberal ones, and now he like teaches clowning and stuff. I'm just kind of like, what are you doing, dude? Like why are you trying to like save the kids? Or it seems like he's trying to find some new sort of purpose there. I would just leave the community behind. That's what I did.
And you're probably better off for it.
Yes. So
I'm also very on record as being an atheist. So.
Oh yeah. Were you raised religious at all?
I'm ethnically a Jew and Reform Judaism.
Reform Judaism. Did you have a bar mitzvah?
I did not. I'm technically not a man, everyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is really dumb of me because that is such a fucking payday at 13.
Oh, yeah. That's what I hear. The checks.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
I just couldn't be bothered with Hebrew school.
Yeah, because you have to learn a lot.
For better or worse, my father, had to hold down 2 jobs to keep us in a halfway decent neighborhood. So, I was pretty much a wild child. I just did my own fucking thing because he just didn't have time to actually, be an authority figure.
Oh, my God.
So it's like, oh, you need to go to Sunday school. Nah, I ain't doing that.
So do you believe in a higher power or anything like that?
No.
Interesting.
This is the whole show. When it ends.
I like that.
I don't. It's terrifying.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I like that LA thing of the whole like you know what language I speak now? I speak the 12-step language
Okay.
of the higher power because it gives me a sense of peace. So that's the language I speak so when I'm having a stressful day, I'm like, higher power, help me. That's what I speak. Because I was raised to believe in a God, and now even though I don't believe in the God per se, I can put my faith in something a little bit bigger than myself and meditate on that and just be like, I'll give it up to whoever and just not worry about it.
I envy you on that because I can't do that shit. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, they tried to really raise me with the Judaism, and it was just like,
Don't buy it.
Yeah, it's like, these are all rules written by people who didn't shit indoors.
Yeah.
They're shitting in holes in the desert. I don't think they know what's up. Pork is delicious.
Pork is delicious.
Pork is fucking delicious. Like, I have pork chops in the fridge right now.
Pork is amazing.
Right.
How can you neglect that? Yeah.
I totally get it in biblical times. If you didn't cook that shit right, it would kill you. I get it.
That's right.
Totally get it.
And they do wallow in their own shit, but that's because they have to.
Right. We have hoses now. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's how pigs keep cool. We have hoses now. We can wash that shit off. They're delicious. And it's like, if there is a God and there is a just God, why does everyone in sub-Saharan Africa get fucked constantly?
Mm-hmm.
Why does typhoons just wipe away whole fucking communities?
Right.
If there was a just God, why haven't we having any fucking miracles in 2,000 years?
Yeah.
It's really hard to convince me that, like, there's a higher power. And I'm okay with that because it motivates me. Like, it reminds me, like, oh, hey, we have a finite time here. And because we have a finite time here and nothing is promised, we should be fucking trying to live it to the best we can.
Yeah. And also it forces you to take responsibility for everything on your own, right?
Definitely. Like, oh, no higher power told me to do that. No, that was me.
Right.
That was me being a shithead.
You get to take you're like, oh no, I did that.
Yep, I did that. I also don't have to beg forgiveness from Invisible Sky Daddy when I do something shitty.
Right.
Like, I either own it or I don't, and I go about my day.
Mm.
And, like, that's why on what you said very early in the podcast, like, the hypocrisy and how many, like, religious people are really shitty people. When I was working as a PI, which we talked about briefly when off air, whenever I would investigate someone who's involved with the church, they were the most fraudulent people I ever dealt with.
You are kidding me.
Nope, every time.
It was always someone who was involved in the church. That is so funny.
Well, not every case was with someone with the church, but every time I did work someone who was involved with the church, they were super fraudulent. Super fraudulent.
The hypocrisy.
Yep. Like, I worked a guy who claimed he had a leg injury, followed him from church for him going door to door taking collections.
Wow.
It's like, I guess he justified, it's okay to commit fraud because I'm doing the Lord's work. I don't know. But just every fucking time I worked a guy, this was one of the most uncomfortable things that my boss has ever had me do. It was a church where it was one of those, like, if you donate so much money, God will bring it back to you type of churches.
Oh, no.
And they actually had me attend a service.
Oh, no.
And it's a small congregation. Like, there's 30 people.
Oh, no. What a scam.
Yeah. But also, I had to interact with all these people. Like, I actually had to attend the fucking service. And it's like just bullshitting my way through the whole thing. But watching this dude who is on workers' comp from the Los Angeles school district and is supposedly injured on stage being like, because of, your blessings, we were able to buy this for the church or buy this for the church. God will bring all that stuff back to you. It's just like, This is so fucked. So I had very little faith to begin with, and that shit just eroded it even further. Is what it is.
Wow. My mind is blown.
I can tell. You're just like,
what a shame. I'm so disappointed in these people. You must have a lot of stories coming from a PI perspective.
a few.
Yeah.
Few here and there. Like, a lot. It's a very boring and exciting job.
Right. I'm sure. But it also doesn't exactly surprise me that these guys who were religious would be the most fraudulent.
My guess is part of it is like, hey, I can ask to repent. That's part of the deal, right?
That's true. You can wipe the whole slate clean.
Right?
You start back at zero.
Exactly. Like, look at the old school Sicilian mobsters, so you're devout Catholics. Like, yeah, I murdered like 10 guys, but a couple Hail Marys, that takes care of that, right?
That's right. We're all good.
God's okay with it as long as I repent.
That's right. Wipe it clean. We're all square.
Right? So ridiculous. But I hate to do it. We're going to call last call because, believe it or not, we've been doing this for over 2 hours.
Oh my God. Already. See, look at this. You're a pro.
I've done this once or twice.
Yes.
This is episode like 5, right?
Right.
But we're going to call last call. Before we get you out of here, please tell the people where they can find your things, where they can find the special that we barely talked about.
My special is called I'm Not Supposed to Be Here. You can find me, Hank Chen, on all my socials. And yeah, that's me. Instagram. You find me. Is anybody on X anymore?
Yes.
Formerly on Twitter. I haven't posted in probably a year. Yeah, Hankster Chen. And it's been great being here. Thank you so much for having me.
My absolute pleasure. We will definitely do it again, assuming that this doesn't get you canceled.
Right.
You resent me. You're like, I can't believe I fucking did that podcast. That cost me so many fucking bookings.
Whatever. This is going to get me 5 Hallmark movies. I appreciate it.
And me like a walk-on roll on one of them? Sure.
Exactly.
Hank, it was an absolute pleasure. And until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.
Drink up, motherfuckers.